say 30 days on market, it takes a minimum of 6 months on market to normalize. And it takes 9+ to become a buyer's market.
Exactly.
So it's still crazy.
Yeah.
It's still skewed. It's still great for sellers. And buyers still have challenges. Every day I go into Facebook and it's two different worlds. It's like the angel and the devil. I've got the
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
world is falling. Market sucks. The bubble is bursting. Ha ha, real estate agents, suck it. You're all going to die.
Yep.
Then I have the, it's not bad. It's actually pretty awesome. We're still closing and we're growing bigger, stronger, blah, blah, blah. How much overkill do you feel? Because I feel tons of overkill.
I feel like no one's being particularly, I'm not seeing a lot of neutral ground.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing the sky is falling. Everything is going bad.
Right. We're all going to die.
It's fine. Like, what are you talking about? Actually, if you look at it this way, it's completely fine. And nobody's like, yeah, it's different. Here's the pros, here's the cons.
You know what? You're 100% right. Because we're really not. We're fed. It's exactly like, I say it all the time. So I'm probably part of the problem. I am the problem. Is the glass half empty? Is the glass half full? We all talk about that, and it's the mindset of the market. If you want the market to be bad, I could give you 20 reasons why the market's horrible. If you want the market to be good, I can give you 25 reasons why the market's good, or 20, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, guess what? That glass still has 4 ounces of water. That's the fact. That's what we're delivering on. You have 4 ounces of water. Are you thirsty? I have water. I have 4 ounces that you can drink. What do you want to do with that 4 ounces?
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of my new focus going into August is I have 4 ounces of water. Who wants to buy? Who wants to sell? Mm-hmm. And this is what I can deliver from the doom and gloom. This is what I can deliver from the optimism side of things of going, it's not that bad. Because really, it's not that bad.
It's not.
And the doom and gloom, yeah, it's not as good as what it was last year. You know, we're back to 2018, 2019, which was still really good for real estate.
I heard someone say that, like, essentially once you have an opinion on something, your fact finding is over.
Skewed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, any information. So, like, if I think B is true, I'm no longer taking evidence on A. But if I find something that encourages my belief of B, then I'm going to drink that up.
Right.
And, like, I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing. They're like, okay, it's either the world's greatest market or it's absolute garbage.
Right.
Like, there's no, like, okay, here's some positives, here's some negatives. Like you said, there's 4 ounces of water is the fact.
Yep.
You can look at that as, oh, great, I have 4 ounces of water. Or you can be like, oh, my gosh, I only have 4 ounces of water.
Right. And are you looking at the 4 ounces of water from a 6-ounce cup or from a 32-ounce
Exactly.
cup? Because that's going to skew your perspective as well.
Exactly. And it's been such a hot market that I think it's terrifying people that it's normalizing.
Right. I still kind of look back to when I first got my license. And I know, Lauren, you've been a licensed agent for almost 4 years now, right? Or is it 4?
We're almost at 4.
Woo, yay. Okay, so 4 years. So you've really only seen the
Crazy.
ending. Yeah, you've seen the ending of a somewhat normal market going into who knows what's going to happen. Let's just throw spaghetti at the wall.
Yep, pretty much.
So I started in 2008, which was a chaotic upside down market, total buyer's market. I mean, I could ask for anything and I could probably get it when I wrote offers. So it went from that crazy buyer's market to a seller's market. And in the 12 years I've been doing this, there's probably only a very small window, I'm talking 6 months or less, than in what they would consider a normalized market. Normal market is 6 months of inventory. We still have a month right now. So even with homes slowing back, our inventory picking up, and inventory's not really picking up, we still have the same amount of homes going on the market. They're selling slower, which is increasing the inventory. So say 30 days on market, it takes a minimum of 6 months on market to normalize. And it takes 9+ to become a buyer's market.
Exactly.
So it's still crazy.
Yeah.
It's still skewed. It's still great for sellers. And buyers still have challenges.
but it's
We still have 4 ounces of water.
Yes, we still have 4 ounces. It's starting to change. And I actually, because I represent, most of us
All of us,
represent
yeah.
buyers and sellers. It's nice because sellers are still getting really good money for their houses. Homes are still anticipated to appreciate, and prices will continue to rise slowly, but they will rise.
Deceleration.
Deceleration.
Yes, that's a new terminology I've learned, and I like it. You know, we had a massive amount of acceleration. So, like, think of yourself driving down a road at 100 miles an hour. That was the market for the past 2-3 years. Like, don't worry about anything. We're just going straight ahead. And now, instead of 100, we're going 50. But we're still doing 50 in a 25. So we've decelerated to half the speed of what we were, but we're still doing double what we're supposed to.
I liken it to, when you're driving up north on like some of those, perhaps other people driving up north. When you're driving on those roads where there is nary a cop, and you're going perhaps way over the speed limit, and then you hit the actual speed limit, you're like, wow, this is really slow. Yes. You're still going 70 miles an hour, right. But you're like, oh yeah, this is slow. Or when you get off the freeway and it's 45.
It's so funny that you say this. This is a real life thing that happened to me once. I had a rental car, and I did not know how to operate anything on it, and somehow I switched from miles to kilometers.
Ooh.
And I was driving down a dirt road, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm going so fast. Like, I really felt like, am I getting sick? Like, this just seems like so surreal.
Yeah, light speed.
And then I seen a cop, and of course, you slow down when you see a cop because that's just what you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm still looking at it going, wow, I'm still going like way under the speed limit, and I feel like I'm going fast. That's when I realized I was in kilometers, not miles. Yeah, that was fun. Did not get pulled over, thank goodness.
Did the police officer show you that?
Going from really high rates of speed down to like the 20-25 miles an hour that I was supposed to be going, it was like a crawl.
It felt like you were crawling, yes.
Yes, it was
and
crazy.
That's what I think a lot of people are going through. They're like, oh my gosh.
I will never forget that day. Oh my gosh. That was a total
they're in kilometers
airhead
still.
Moment. Right.
That's what it
they're
is.
In kilometers still.
Yeah.
Do you see that you're getting a lot of pushback from buyers saying that they want to wait? You know, I hear a lot of, I'm going to wait, the bubble's going to burst, I'm going to wait until prices drop down.
I am. I think I'm actually surprisingly hearing it less now than I was, say, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people's perceptions are starting to change or if it's perhaps just they're realizing like, well, I still need to buy it. And what I tell people too is there's no evidence of a crash happening. A slowdown could definitely happen.
Right.
A stabilization hopefully will happen.
Needed.
But a crash, no one's predicting that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to predict it if no one else is.
Right.
And it's also your need. Like, we all know I'm crazy and bought my house last year, which was maybe really wild to other agents that I was buying in that market.
But you weren't alone. A lot of other people did.
Exactly.
I still bought investment properties. I'm still buying investment properties in that crazy market and this market.
Yeah, and the need was there.
Right.
I needed more space. So for a lot of people, it's like, okay, you have this fear of the market crashing. I don't think it's reasonable, but let's go with it. If the market crashes, then what? And for a lot of people, it's like, oh, okay, well, even if the prices did go down, I still need a house, or I still need more room, or, grandma needs to move in, or whatever the need is.
The life change.
Exactly. I still need to buy. And I guess, you might be right. I see hesitancy now instead of just, nope, we're not doing it.
Well, and I think it brought back, for years and years and years, buying a home was generational. You didn't buy a home to live in it for 2 or 3 years. People bought homes to raise families. And sometimes their families raised their families in those homes. And we got away from that. Real estate ended up becoming a short-term investment for a lot of people. They would buy something, they'd fix it, they'd sell it. Sometimes they wouldn't even fix it. Sometimes they'd buy it, stay there for 6 months, and turn around and put a sign on it again. So I think we're going to be stepping away from that mentality and going back to the normalized philosophy of I'm buying a home, I'm making an investment. In the long term, prices go up and down all the time. But if it's going to be a long-term investment, just like the stocks, at the end, you'll usually end up winning. You can't just run and panic the first time things start to dip.
Exactly.
You know, you think about those people who bought in 2007 before the crash of 2008 and 2009. The people are even before, who bought before then. The people who held those properties during that window when homes depreciated. If they held onto those homes, in 2011, they were back on track and had equity. Mm-hmm. So
I've had clients that sold recently that, they were worried they could never move, but they waited long enough.
Right.
And had the luxury of waiting long enough that actually they ended up making money. So like you said, if you're looking at it as an investment, what other investment are you only doing for a couple of years?
Right, exactly.
Not many.
So long-term historical data, 3 to 4% is the average home appreciation over 100 years. In the past 5 years, our appreciation has averaged about, I think it's like 17%. Mm-hmm. There was, last year it was way over that, but then we have to contribute, the lower years that it hasn't appreciated that much. That's not normal.
Yeah.
You can't look at those numbers and forecast an investment based off of that. You really do need to go long term. So right now they're forecasting, National Association on the 27th, so 2 days ago? 2 days ago just did their reforecasting for 2022. And they're still saying, they're supporting the numbers that they put out earlier in the month, saying 8 to 9%. It costs a seller about 8 to 9% to sell a home. Mm-hmm. Your home's going to appreciate potentially 8 to 9% this year.
Yeah.
So you need to stay in your house for 1 year to break even. If you bought a house last year, you could have closed on your house and sold it maybe the next day and broke even.
Yeah.
If you waited a month or two, you might have made a couple $1,000s. But it's normalized. We're going back to that normalized market. You buy a house because of a need. You buy a house because you want to live there. You don't buy a house to sit there and say, okay, how much money am I going to make and how quick am I going to make it? Mm-hmm. And I think if you buy like that, you're buying smart.
Exactly.